So today we've been working on the trails and we got all the way up to this old farm equipment. I'm not sure what it is or why it's all here, but what we're going to do is try to attach it to the truck and pull some of it out.
Hey, how's your old farm equipment?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe you're the farm.
So as you can see, I found a bunch of old metal farm equipment on my land. It happens to be where I'm trying to run a trail and also where ultimately I'd like to put a campsite. So I've got to get it out of the way. Honestly, if it wasn't in the way, I'd probably just leave it. I was lucky because during this project, Davis got to do almost all of it with me, and it was a lot of fun. He was really into it because, of course, we're attaching giant chains to a big truck and pulling things around the woods. What little boy wouldn't find that amazing? We're going to see if this works. You can see we're using a big metal tow chain, which you could buy at any hardware store. And honestly, if you own a pickup truck, you should definitely have one just in the bed at all times. You can see here with the backup camera, we're trying to pull our first piece out. It's moving. Some of the pieces were partially buried in the dirt. For some of them, later on, you'll see it becomes a problem. For this one, it's not too big, so I was able to pull it out with just a little tug. What do you think? Did we get it?
But it's not supposed to be right here. Now it's blocking the trail for the truck again.
We're going to have to drag this to the dump or the recycling center eventually.
With the truck? With the truck?
The more stuff I pulled out, the more metal farm equipment I found. I initially thought I only had a couple of pieces, but you can see here I'm pulling out some kind of hay rake or something. I have to give credit to Davis, the videographer here. He's hanging out in the back of the truck and recording the progress. The chain is longer than it looks, and we're going pretty slowly.
Look.
Of course, Davis was right, and I managed to hang this thing on a tree, and I had to get it loose, which was really fun.
It's in the way of the tree again. It's in the way again. Something's in the way again.
Of course, he's right again. And I've got to get this thing unstuck
again,
for a second time. The wheels make it want to track cockeyed and get caught on everything between where all the stuff is dumped and the front yard where I'm trying to pull it. Apparently, Davis found the process of me getting this thing unstuck boring and started to do some interesting selfies. I know it seems silly, but having him back there to call out when something goes wrong is actually helpful.
I am recording, but nothing's happening. The chain fell off.
Because all this equipment is old and rusty, it seems like every time I attach to a point, it breaks off or bends and makes the chain loose, which is really annoying.
You're doing it.
At least we're starting to make some progress here. There's a lot more than I realized kind of buried underneath everything. You see, we're finally making some progress getting this stuff out of the way. Dragging one thing at a time is taking forever, but it's really the only way to do it. It at least we seem to get some satisfying purchase on this one and really drag it out. I have no idea what it's part of. What are you doing? Is that a seat for your butt? Is that hilarious?
Yeah.
All right, so we got day number 2 of removing old farm equipment. What do you think that thing is?
I don't know. So a part of a tractor that trims grass?
I like that idea. All right, let's get it out of here. Where should we hook up?
Maybe around those.
Okay.
No, wait. What about around those too? Because it's in the middle.
That's a good
where
idea.
It will pull the best. Okay.
Davis seems to be having a lot of fun on day 2, and we're making some progress getting the junk out of there. Whatever this one is, it's buried in the ground a little bit. I tied off here, and you can see I broke this piece of metal, just snapped. So I'm gonna try to tie off here and see if it'll flip and kind of pull out of the ground. I kind of unburied it by hand and got a lot of vines out of the way, so hopefully this will be the answer. It seemed like whatever part of this object I attached to would break the metal and the chain would pop off. When I finally found a solid connection point, it's so buried I can't pull it out. Even in four-wheel drive low, with everything locked out, it just doesn't want to come. And my tires aren't too bad, so they should get some purchase. To get this thing moving, I put the farm jack under the edge of it and lifted it out. I also had to cut a tree out of the way. It's kind of growing up in the middle. So hopefully if I attach the chain to this side, it'll just flip over and start dragging out. Whatever this is, it's officially out of the ground. So I think I could pull it. Some kind of gigantic plowing thing. This thing is pretty huge. But now that I've got everything out, it's a pretty good collection. That's the fire ring, which we're keeping. There's that. And all the rest of it. Hopefully some scrapper will be very happy. Unrelated to the scrap removal project, we rented a backhoe. I always planned on using some kind of heavy equipment to get this stuff crushed down and loaded into a trailer, because I really didn't feel like trying to lift it up and over by myself. Most of the pieces are too big for that to be a realistic goal anyway. Once everything was flat and put into the trailer, I was able to take it down to a local recycling place. We got a little bit of money for it, but definitely not enough to even offset the diesel fuel.